Hey guys, it's Jonathan with Southern Drone Ops. This is Chandler with Indigo. Today we wanted to take some time and announce a new partnership, or what would you call this?
I would call it a
Collaboration?
partnership.
Yeah, partnership. So this is going to hopefully be pretty fruitful for Indigo's current clients, Southern Drone Ops current clients, and anyone potentially in the future that is wanting to add drones to their services offered on their farms. One question I get a lot is this drones, is there any rebates or is there any credits or anything from the government to come back to get us more money on the farm or anything like that? And I've always said, not that I know of. Currently I'm sure there'll be something in the future, and because a lot of people ask, like, there's variable rate fertilizer applications and things like that, variable rate, chemical application, spot spraying, things like that. I couldn't find anything specifically that just very clearly laid out, hey, this is what, this is some potential money you can get back per acre, per job, things like that. So I contacted Chandler and I saw her company, what they were able to do, and it's basically around carbon credits and things like that, to which I had heard of vaguely, but I didn't really know very clearly what that was. So I started talking with her and her group, very impressed with it, and I started kind of thinking, the wheels kind of got turned into say, maybe there's something here. Maybe this is something that we can offer with our services to kind of just say, hey, there's one more thing here that you can, add to your farm, or say, hey, here's one more selling point for the drone. So anyone that's not aware, in my opinion, there's not a better way to put out cover crops than with drones. We have very low gate options, all the way down to 2.5 pounds an acre, all the way up to 200 pounds. Now, we all know being able to carry 110, 120 pounds at a time, it's not really advantageous to put that out per acre. It's going to be a lot of fill ups. At that point, you're going to need your tinderbox with a chute. It's going to take forever. Now, if it's too wet to get out, air can't get out, you have to get something out, obviously you'll make do with what you got. But ideally, drones are going to be better in the cover crop range, because we're going to sit in that 5, 10 pounds all the way up to I found ideally 40 to 60, 70 pounds per acre of cover crop is the best application to put that out with. So talking with Chandler and learning about their company, what they're able to offer, I see a lot of options are coming up with the cover crops. And we're in Arkansas. We have a lot of rice, and there's some specific guidelines that they have to follow to get the carbon credits back. If you're not familiar with carbon credits, we're going to release some more information about it. You can check out Chandler's group Indigo. I'm sure they'll have a lot more information coming out with it, but I'm going to try to release as much content as we can about it. This has also been me kind of learning as I go. But from my rudimentary knowledge, understanding of it right now, is the two biggest areas where we're going to be able to shine is going to be the cover crop area, to where we're putting out cover crops. Now, cover crops, for those that are kind of new to this, is crops that we'll put out to grow in the off season. That kind of helps with nutrients retained in the soil, and that will kind of help with the biomass, biodensity of it in the off season. And there's other advantages to sometimes even keep the wildlife out of certain acres and certain crops, to keep them from even like deer eating up different, like corn, things like that. So there's many advantages to the cover crops, but if we can get money back for putting cover crops out, I think that's just another great kind of feather in the hat for drones to say, hey, this is something we want to add to our farms and put out. So that's one advantage, is the cover crops. There's a lot that comes with it, and then if you get paid to put them out, all the better. And like I said, I don't think there's a better way to put them out than with drones. The second option is going to be at the end of the season, or before we go to put out our actual main crop. We have to get rid of the cover crop that was there in the wintertime. Chemical burn down is how we typically get rid of them that way. And that can be done with precision spraying with a drone. So that's essentially putting them out and then doing the cleanup with the drone as well. That's just my rudimentary understanding of that right now for my area. Other parts of the country are going to have all different kinds of specialty things they can do with the drones and put out. But for my area, which I seem to think is limited, what I've been told is there's not a whole lot that we can do with them. I think there's a couple other things coming down the pipeline that will be at the end of this year. But for now, it seems to be, from my understanding, is just going to be the cover crops. So I think that's something that we can offer to people, and I think that's something that clients will be able to really kind of dig into and really see a good return with it. To keep in mind, I'm learning about this as we go, as far as when the payments come back from that and everything else. So at this point, I'm going to turn it over to Chandler, let her explain Indigo and how they are able to help farms and help with carbon credits, help the environment, and help change the world. Maybe, I don't know. We'll see.
Change the world is a big step, but
yeah.
I guess we're moving in that direction. Indigo started back in 2014. We were a startup company solely determined on helping farmer profitability. That is our main mission and goal, is to feed the world and farmer profitability. So we started with a bunch of different aspects. We kind of said, this doesn't really fit with what we want to do. Carbon sequestration came into play back in 2019. We did our first pilot with it, and it was very successful in 2020. And we had our first grower payments go out in 2020, and I've been doing it ever since. Carbon sequestration is basically taking a certain practice like cover crops. And when a farmer plants a cover crop, it takes carbon out of the atmosphere and sequesters it into the soil. So that's why cover crops is probably our number one selling point with carbon, because it does sequester the most carbon and it does pay our growers the most. Besides carbon, we also have our source programs where we will pay growers a premium on their rice, cotton, and wheat right now for sustainably grown crops. They have to follow a certain guideline. I'm not completely familiar with those because I don't sell those. I just sell carbon. And then we also have our seed treatments. Those are for every crop, including, milo and sorghum and wheat and corn and cotton and soy, any crop you can think of. And then those same crops we also have in the carbon program minus the rice. Unfortunately, right now we can't model rice. Rice is a different animal, so we can't really put, a cover crop on rice. I know some growers can do that, but it's not ideal to be modeled. And we have to go by what the Climate Action Reserve tells us to do. Right. And that has not been researched or modeled properly just yet.
So the Climate Action, and that's something I'm learning too. So with them, how much are they a part of y'all's day-to-day operation? Or are they kind of like the overseers of what y'all are doing? Explain that to me on what they're on how they work in your model.
Right. I would say that they're our verifying body. So they've helped us do the research. They've helped us create an algorithm and a model to put all this information into the computer system to get farmers paid. Okay. So when a company purchases our carbon credits, they're doing it to offset their emissions tax from the government. Okay. You know how the government is. They want to make sure everything is legitimate. Right. So if we have carbon credits that's been sold that they've bought to offset that tax so that they don't have to pay it, the government wants to make sure that is legitimate. So they want to have all the information and data behind it. So that's where the Climate Action Reserve comes in. They legitimize everything. They verify everything. There are little blue check marks saying that we are legitimate. And they comb through all of growers' information from 5 to 7 years prior on that farm. And then once they see the additionality that the farmers added, so like cover crops or minimum till and no-till, crop rotation, anything like that to show a difference in the baseline of what they have been sequestering versus what has now been added, that is what we can pay them on, is that difference.
And so I guess they do that yearly checks on that, or, yep. Okay. And is that after harvest, or when do they typically start doing those?
So we have a different calendar year than the regular calendar year. We go September to September. So from September 1st of last year till September 1st of this year is the current carbon crop year where I'm trying to get new carbon acres in, I'm trying to get growers invested in the program this year who have planted cover crops in fall of 23.
Okay.
And then after September, so from, let's say, September 2nd to March 1st is our carbon harvest. So that's when the grower puts in all of their information into the computer system. And then that is when Climate Action Reserve, will double check all of the farmers' information. And once that is completed, they will send out a little report and say, Farmer Joe got X amount of carbon sequestered on these fields, and this is how much y'all are to pay him.
Good. Very cool. All right. And how many, so just, and your territory is a lot? Yeah.
I can name all the states if you want me to.
Yes.
There's 14 of them.
Okay. So
Okay.
Southeast, basically?
The whole Southeast, essentially, but I've also gained a little bit of the Northeast.
Okay.
So I've got Southern Missouri, Arkansas, Louisiana, Mississippi, Alabama, Tennessee, Kentucky, Georgia, the Carolinas, Virginia, Delaware, Maryland, and Pennsylvania.
Okay. That's a pretty good amount. So you're
Quite a good
on the
amount.
road or flying or driving, or not flying.
Not
driving.
flying, definitely
Yeah.
driving.
Yeah. So, all right. So that's pretty good tier. So do you have a rough estimate of how many clients you have in those 14 states combined, or?
I've been selling carbon since 2020. So I would say from looking at all the acres that I've sold, it's close to 2.5 million acres sold in the last 4 years.
Okay. All right. And do you know how many active clients you got signed up now, or?
A majority of them are still active because it is a 5-year contract.
Okay.
You can quit the program whenever you want. Most people don't because they enjoy getting the paycheck from it.
Yeah.
But there are no fees to quit or anything like that. I've had a few quit in the past, but that was strictly because they rented farmland and they didn't have it anymore.
Gotcha.
So
they got
it was
business.
nothing to do with our program or the payments or anything like that.
Okay, that makes sense. Okay. And then, so you said 2019 is when you started with it. And have you, so 5 years, have you seen any big changes in it as far as, new equipment or new changes or, new, advents? Or do you think drones is going to be the biggest thing that's going to come in and help? Or what's your vantage point?
Yeah, no, 100%. When we first started, the technology was very archaic, I would say. We really had to do a lot of manual input. We had to do a lot of, getting paperwork from the FSA and manually inputting that into the computer system. Previously, to do 5 years worth of data for, a farmer that had 1,000 acres probably took 6 months. I mean, that's pretty rough. Right. Now we have something called the Data Wizard. I just did a demo with one of my partners in North Carolina for it. We did 5 years of data in 45 minutes.
Wow.
So it's much easier, much simpler. We're going by crop type instead of field by field, because obviously a lot of farmers farm the same crop the same way across multiple fields. So there's no need to be redundant about it.
Gotcha.
But I do think that with how this program is continuing to streamline, not only has the data been streamlined, the payments have been streamlined. When we first started, it was like $9 per carbon ton per acre. It's a hard sell.
Yeah.
Most farmers are like, that's not even worth my time. Right. Now it's at $40 to the farmer per carbon sequestration per acre. So data has streamlined, payments have streamlined, and then we've gone from completely direct to grower, which is where I would cold call farmers and go out to their farms and talk to them about carbon. You could only really talk to about 10 farmers a day, and even that's a stretch. So we've streamlined that process by taking it from direct to grower to me going to partners such as yourself. And I do think that partners have the relationship and the ability to enroll a grower faster than I do. It takes a while to create a new relationship with someone. You already have that relationship. Right. And then on top of that, each partner has such a unique business that they offer something else to the farmer. And now they can say, oh, by the way, I can give you more money for carbon as well. So I think drones would be a fantastic way to integrate even newer technology into carbon, because now, you know, this is kind of like reducing your carbon footprint anyway. Drones are. So,
Yeah.
you know, if a farmer is progressive and they want to reduce their carbon footprint, or, you know, whatever their goals are for their farm, I think getting a little extra money from us and then having you guys save them on gas and all this new technology, like, I think that's great.
Yeah, great. Yeah, so that's kind of what we have so far. We've been working on this for a few weeks now. We felt comfortable enough to move forward to start, obviously, speaking about it publicly, to say, you know, hey, this is what's coming. I finally feel confident enough in some parts to say, yes, there is a way I think we can get you some more money by using drones on your farm. Obviously, you know, there's already the advantage of the less water use, less chemical use, you know, carbon negative. We're looking at something else now that we're going to verifying, because you know some of our data shows that we use so many gallons of gas a day to run our generator to spray so many acres versus what a tractor or a plane would use. So we're just looking at that actually carbon reduction there on a pure gasoline basis as a reimbursement there. So that's something coming down the pipeline that we're working on now to figure out that data. But I just want to take the time today to introduce Chandler and talk about our partnership that we have coming, to where if you have any questions about your current practices and you don't have a drone and you want to see if you qualify for anything for carbon credits, we'll put her contact information in the information in this video, so you can contact her directly to see, even if you're not in her territory, I'm sure she can get you to the right person and see if you can qualify for carbon credits now. If you were wanting, kind of on the fence about adding drones and kind of needed just one more thing to kind of push you over the edge, I think this is it. From everything I've seen so far, to me, it's really exciting. If you've watched my content for a while, you know I'm big into the environment and reducing our carbon footprint and reducing what we're doing to our environment. I've got a couple other videos coming out on actually a DoD project that I've been working on that's been under wraps, that's coming out, that's going to have a big impact on the environment as well. I think this is another massive project that I'm ready to release and let everyone see, because I think this can really obviously put some more money in your pocket, but it's really also obviously going to help the environment even more. So I'm excited to bring this to our offerings. We're, Southern Drone Ops, we're not just here to sell you drones. We're not just here to spray for you. I've tried to set my company up to where we can assist you from every step of the way. From, we've got our aviation attorney that specializes for the exemptions. We've got the dealership to where we can offer the equipment, the sales, the training, service after the sale. We don't do tail-out warranties. We don't drop the drone off and then when our tail-outs are out of sight, you're on your own. We help you with every step of the way there. And then if you want the in-field training, the consulting, education, things like that, another video coming out is I'm actually going to be teaching at a university in June for the first spray drone class at a collegiate level, to our knowledge. So we are going to have another video coming out about that. But today I wanted to just focus on Chandler and Indigo and let you guys know that I think this is going to be a great opportunity for you to add this to your farm or implement drones in, and this is something else that's going to help you. So if you have any questions, go ahead and leave them, I guess, in the comment section below. Send us a message, and if you're not already, give us a like, a follow on all of our socials. We're on YouTube, TikTok, Facebook, all of those. Caleb behind the cameras running all those for me because I don't know how to do those. So thank God I've got Caleb. So anyway, so we are going to document this as much as we can. We'll put all this out there. Content-wise, we should have stuff coming out daily for you guys to look at. Not just drone related, but we're trying to expand out to agriculture as a whole, as far as the news, the education, obviously now with carbon and things like that. So anyway, so I've rambled enough. This is Jonathan with Southern Drone Ops, guys. Thanks for watching.